Good morning and welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways, Coyote in the Highlands. It's a beautiful morning, a little bit chilly. We've had some fires nearby, or actually the smoke that I'm getting in this bowl, this little valley area in the highlands, in the mountains here, isn't from the nearest fire. It's from a fire in, once again, California, which seems to have abandoned all efforts at efficiently and effectively managing fires, provided that the wind keeps blowing east and that they can make arguments about climate change. Like, they just don't bother anymore. This is year number 3 that I've had to medicate my lungs because of California fires. It's really weird. I went all the way to Utah one year and I couldn't get away from it. It's like crazy. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about, so there's a concept called purgatory. Okay, some religions have it. You may or may not be familiar with it. What it is it's a kind of a temporary hell where you suffer to expiate your sins, your wrongdoings. So you go to this purgatory to get cleansed. Okay, it's a punishment space, but it's not a eternal hellfire damnation thing. It's a space you go for some period of time. In some other religious contexts, you could think of this as being reincarnated as a lower life form for as an ant or a roach or something, for a couple lifetimes until you earn your humanity back or something. It's not a concept I'm very, very up on, but there's an idea that there's a specific type of purgatory for people who are constantly whining, okay? And I love that concept. This, once again, is brought to you from Twitter. This is from one of the shamans that I follow. It's really interesting. The specific thing is people who are simply congenital whiners. That's the quote. And I think that's a very interesting concept. And what I think is most interesting about it is that it's a self-created purgatory. The thing about purgatory, and the reason to use that phrase, is that you can turn around and walk out of it at any point in time. But there's a purgatory created by you, or by people, for their own suffering and congenital, like just habitual, constant whining or negativity creates that purgatory. All you have to do is stop. Literally, all you have to do is stop. Now, the way most people justify this, if you call them on it enough, if it's just whining, complaining, negative, and you call them on it, then they dress it up. Okay, they make it about, they make it complaints and railing against these fallen times and the destruction of society and the fall of man and all this stuff. They dress it up in all this societal level stuff, and it's not. It's absolutely not. One of the greatest things to realize is that we have been on this journey as humans since we screwed up with agriculture. We've been on this journey of improvement and expansion and enlightenment, and we're doing such a good job of just making humanity rise and rise and rise. At the same time, some of that is done on the backs of other humans who are seen as cogs, as labor machines, We've expanded... Excuse me there. We've expanded, potentially, our ability to give people opportunities for satisfactory lives, for satisfying lives, for meaningful lives, for enlightenment, for purpose. Maybe. I can't tell you that we didn't have an infinite amount of that before settlement agriculture. I don't know. But we've been expanding that for a lot of people, but we're doing it on the backs of others. Other people who are cogs in the machine, but they seem to be willingly cogs in the machine. There's some training that goes on there. The public education system is designed to make willing servants of the public, of industry and the state. Willing servants of industry and the state is a direct quote from public education 100 years ago. Like, that's literally the purpose. So, you know, integrate people into society so they can be willing servants of industry and the state. You can call it industry and society if you don't like that word state. So there's that. This is definitely a potential problem. But we can all break free. We can all just turn the corner and break free from that. And that's what we're here for. So back to the individual side. You're an individuated, individualist individual. Congenital whining, constant complaining is, it's a purgatory that you have created for yourself, in a way. And it's the easiest way to get away from it is to just stop. The trap is to dress it up in social justice, social complaint, social problems, social purgatory, right? So you justify all of this by stopping the complaints about yourself and making the complaints about other people instead. So you just constantly complain about other people, or for other people. You're usually complaining about other people, not about yourself, but you're complaining about things that impact you. And then you expand it. You complain on behalf of other people. You have stress and downs and mental dumps and everything for other people, for the benefit of other people. You become that person who's taking your problems, other people's problems, and pushing them on people. That's a special kind of purgatory there. But people dress it up, and then they feel virtuous. They feel justified in their complaints. Let's just stop with the complaints completely. Just totally, completely. I'm not perfect at that, as you can tell if you watch my videos more than once a month. I'm really not completely solved on that. I have polarity. I believe that we are engaged in a game, a somewhat competitive, perhaps adversarial game of humanity versus anthill. You know, I've picked my side. Klaus Schwab has picked his side, and we're going to butt heads, you know. It's glorious. But just give it some thought, you know. This is just a very simple statement, and the solution is very simple. Catch yourself and see if you can stop that. There is a special purgatory for people, self-inflicted, self-created purgatory for people who complain all the time. Congenital whiners. But it's a self-imposed purgatory. You can turn it around, exit any moment you want. And that doesn't mean you exit by complaining for other people, by dressing it up in social needs or social justice or political action or whatever. No. Positive politics, positive social change. Build something. Don't whine, don't complain. That's where we're at. And I think that this, just to tie it together to some of my best friends out there, is where I have one of my biggest problems with doomer optimism, is that the doomers see a lot to complain about, and all those complaints are necessary to the future of humanity living its life in a lower, less needy context. Whatever. I mean, come on. Guys, positive, all right? So, don't make a purgatory out of your life. Do something great. Turn around, exit that door, and stop whining. Stay sideways.